I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The following are the morning announcements. Happy birthdays today for Victoria Redmond, Olivia Redmond, Shantea Browning, Tyler Hefner, Jacob Moore, Adriana Hosey, and Josh Whitcraft. On our sports schedule, at 4:30, the boys' middle school football will be taking on Wellsville at the 8th grade, and that'll be a home game. At 6:30 p.m., our girls' varsity soccer will be at home against Columbiana High School. Attention students, the Final Forms website is up and running. Please make sure that your parents are registering and completing your documents through the Final Forms website. If you have completed the documents on Final Forms, you'll no longer need to fill out the same information every time you go on a field trip or play a new sport. The information is stored and remains in the system unless it needs changed. Next year, these documents will only need approved online and will not need completely filled out again. Directions can be found on the Final Forms tab on the district website, and a prize will be given to the class with the highest participation in getting the forms completed in Final Forms. Voting for fall homecoming will be Friday the 13th of October. Seniors will be called to the cafeteria for that voting. So you got a little bit of time to think about who you want to have on that homecoming court. Do you want to show your Potter pride? Well, then join the Potter Booster Club, grades 9 through 12. Sign-ups are during high school lunches September 4th through today. The cost is $10, and this includes a Booster Club t-shirt that you'll wear at Booster Club activities. All National Honor Society members, if you did not turn in your hour sheets today at the meeting, they must be submitted by today and can be left outside of room 238. Anyone interested in joining the Outdoor Adventure Club, please see Mr. Atkins or Mrs. Voorhees. The cost is $10 and includes a t-shirt. The last day to sign up and receive the shirt is September 27th. The 2019 yearbooks have arrived, and if you ordered one last year, you can pick it up in Mrs. Doherty's room in A240 during homeroom and first period. The Washington, D.C. field trip is scheduled for November the 25th. Juniors and seniors interested in going should contact Mr. Atkins for more information. And the University of Mount Union will be here tomorrow, September 12th at 9 a.m. Anyone interested in meeting with these representatives need to sign up in the guidance office. And juniors, you could visit the guidance office to take part in the PSAT on October 16th and qualify to be considered for a scholarship opportunity from the NMSQT. There's a sign-up sheet for junior and senior high school girls planning to play basketball this year. If you're interested, stop by the office and get signed up. Anyone interested in community service hours can volunteer to work during the Healthy Nutrition Program sponsored by the City Health Department. The program runs from 3:30 to 5 p.m. on Wednesdays for 9 weeks, beginning the end of September. If interested, please call the Health Department Director, Carol Cowan, at 330-386-7400. Great way to get your community service hours. The Serpole Junior and Senior High School Gaming Club will have your next meeting tomorrow after school in the art room, A109, from 3 to 5. Please arrange for pickup after the meeting. The schedule for after-school weightlifting is posted outside of Mr. Atkins' rooms. For those interested, please check that schedule. And seniors, your fall t-shirt sales have begun. Stop and see Mrs. Cotero in B217 to order yours today. The cost is $10. And congratulations to Isaiah Browning for placing first out of approximately 100 runners last night at the Suburban League cross-country meet in Austintown. For anyone needing additional help in any of your schoolwork, tutoring is offered after school in the Student Center today and every Wednesday from 3 until 4 o'clock. For National Honor and National Technical Honor Society members, this is a great way for you to be able to complete community service. Anyone wishing to learn how to tutor or anyone wishing to be tutored, please report to the Student Center today at 3 o'clock and every Wednesday. And a gray Ford Focus. They have left their lights on in the student parking lot. If you happen to be the owner of a gray Ford Focus and think that your lights are on, please report to the office before you head to the parking lot. The sun rose upon a beautiful September morning, starting another fall day with a brilliantly blue sky above the just changing leaves. Hopes, dreams, and the everyday to-do list were in the minds of Americans as the day started just like the days before it. It was just another day. That all changed. In less than 2 hours, the world would forever be altered on September 11th, 2001. An act of violence performed by 19 men was aimed at planting fear into America. They turned planes into weapons and struck the powerful symbols of America, the business center of New York City, and the headquarters of our military, the Pentagon. Another plane was stopped short in its target by the passengers of the flight and crashed into the fields of Shanksville, Pennsylvania. The acts of violence and terror ended the dreams and future world of over 2,977 Americans that day. From servicemen and women on duty that afternoon, to first responders who came to rescue those from danger, to the innocent civilians that were just living their life with no thought of danger, Americans lost their lives. It was not just another day. For 18 years, we have spoken to the students of this school about the events of September 11th. It's a lifetime for some of you, and for most in this building, it has been longer than your life when these events reshaped our world. Why then should we continue to remember and talk of the events that happened so very long ago? What importance does it hold for us today? The aftermath of that day created a massive response that has lasted these past 18 years. The Afghan War, the Iraqi War, the global war on terrorism, all claimed over 14,000 lives of United States military and military contractor personnel. Men and women of America who voluntarily joined to protect our country and have done their duty to their fullest. Their dreams and hopes cut short while completing the mission they had dedicated their lives to do, protecting you. Over 57,000 American soldiers have been wounded in service to you, and the war still has not ended. Today we ask you, the students of East Liverpool Junior and Senior High School, to join the staff and faculty in a moment of silence to commemorate the lives lost, the countless acts of bravery, and the hopes and dreams that could never be fulfilled, and the lives that could never be lived to their fullest. We ask you to spend today to ask about the events, to ask about the events afterwards, and to ask about the lives that were laying down for us to have this day. Today, this day, September 11th, 2019, to take another step to make your dreams come true. Make it your mission to fulfill what you choose to dedicate your life to do. Be the change that you wish to see in your world. May we remember all of these things and dedicate ourselves for our future in this moment of silence. Thank you.
All right. Good morning, everyone. This is Adriana, your host for today's morning show, and pretty soon we'll be, getting our show off about what our current day is. I'd like to have everyone know this is my birthday, and I don't celebrate it that often or at all, mainly because of what has happened today, and my heart goes out for everyone that was caught in the tragedy and who lost their parents or loved ones. So I hope that today goes well. So we're going to get things off here by mentioning what what happened during this day. I am joined by Lance, Nick, and the other Nick.
All right. So, what 9/11 was a terrorist attack by a specific terrorist group called the Taliban. There was an estimated 3,000 innocent people that were killed in the 4 planes that were used. It's crazy. All of this happened. Well, 2 of the planes hit the 2 World Trade Center towers in New York City on September 11th, 2001. The first plane hit at 8:46 a.m. approximately, and it was American Airlines Flight 11, which was originally traveling from Boston to Los Angeles. And that plane hit the North Tower. And at 9:03 a.m., Flight 175, which was also from Boston to Los Angeles originally, hit the South Tower of the World Trade Center. But that's about where, like, most people would think all that happened in the attacks.
Yeah.
But also, at 9:37 a.m., Flight 77, which was traveling from Dulles, Virginia to Los Angeles, hit the Pentagon in Washington. And when they hit, about 250 people died. And it ended up making it to the point where a lot of them couldn't escape because there were so many fires blocking off routes to the exits. 9:59, the South Tower was collapsed by the force of having a passenger plane crashed into it. 10:03, Flight 93 traveling from New Jersey to San Francisco. It crashed into a field near Shanksville, Pennsylvania. It was believed that it was originally going to fly into the White House. But what ended up happening was all of the people on board, they pretty much said, we aren't going to stand for this, we're not going to let this happen, and they overpowered all of the terrorists and crashed the plane in an area where it would cause the least amount of damage that they thought possible. And I believe that there is now a memorial for the people on that plane in Shanksville, which is really good. So, and then at around 10:28 a.m., the North Tower collapsed. It took an approximate 102 minutes between the 2 collapsings. And the only reason why the terrorists would have done this, it was just to put fear in the United States citizens and the government to show that pretty much, even though it is our country, we can still be attacked. And it's just, why can't you just leave us alone?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the big discussion, Lance, as to why they thought it was needed to be done. And why these men dedicated their lives and gave their lives up. They killed themselves, these terrorists that did this, and brought this terror upon America. But there had to be something very, very, very strong in their hearts to be able to do such a thing. And it's that type of open-mindedness we have to approach to make our tomorrows better. We are not condoning. We are not justifying. We are attempting to understand the mindset that someone has to be able to dedicate themselves to do what they did. And those are the things that come from education, from come from us learning history so that it doesn't get repeated. Very poignant question you put out there, Lance. Very poignant question. Why would they choose this over anything else to be able to do? What would make them so desperate to feel that this was the only way to go? And there is a thing we know as radicalism, where people believe only a radical act can get any type of action. And these are things that I feel you should discuss and talk with your teachers and talk with folks at home and to look into this. You know, because we're talking about it very well here today. Very well today.
Yeah, but just to put it out there, this is not condoning Muslims as a whole.
No.
Not at all.
So,
We got to remember,
Yeah.
when that happened, when those people lost their lives, and we don't want to take you off the rails here of your
Yeah.
report. You guys are doing a wonderful job. But remember, when those planes crashed, when those towers fell, Americans died. They were of every race. They were Caucasian. They were African American. They were Hispanic American. They were Indian American. They were Native American. There were almost every ethnicity we have in America was represented as unfortunately victims. They were Catholics. They were Protestant. They were Christian. They were Hindu. They were Muslims who were victims of 9/11. There was almost every religious belief passed away as a victim because of this. This was an act of terrorism that was aimed at America, but it struck resounding chords to the world because of the belief of one known as a sect or a group of a religious belief. And that's where this began with the attack and why it took place. So that's the what happened on it.
Yeah.
What's next in your report, gentlemen and ladies?
Gonna give you two. I can keep going.
Yeah.
So, like I had mentioned before, the name of the terrorist group that performed the attacks of 9/11 was a group called the Taliban. And there was, like I had mentioned, an estimated 3,000 American civilians were killed during the 4 attacks, which is, compared to the 300 million people here, 3,000 doesn't seem like a lot, but it's still innocent lives. So, it's just...
It's heartbreaking. It's very heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And it was heartbreaking on that day to have that happen live, to be watching it as it was unfolding, and to be a part of that, which is what is important with today's message, is that we are here talking about events that are as old as you. Okay? Some of you were born right at that time. Some were born right after that time. So they are either as old as you or they are older than you. And the question is, why do we need to keep remembering? Why do we have to? And there isn't the fact that we remember those events and get depressed. It isn't that we remember those events and chalk it down as a thing in history. It's we remember those events and allow it to affect us. Allow it to be a part of our experience, to say we never want to repeat that again in our futures. We want to do what we can do to make our tomorrow better. And how do we do that? And it goes back to Lance's question. What made these guys have to do this? Why did they choose to do this? Why did they feel so desperate? Or was it straight from a radical belief system that said this is the only way you get change? you know? And this was something that wasn't an overnight thought. This was planned out for years. This was a plan that was coming together for a very long time. And the research that has been conducted by the intelligence agencies of the United States has pieced this together over the 18 years since this took place.
Yeah.
And we know now a lot of it. It's up to you, this next generation of students, to learn this, to understand this, and to say, no more. Let's find a way of stopping this type of belief system before it is allowed to grow, before it is allowed. And it's not stopped by just violence. It's stopped by education. It's stopped by a movement of peace. It's stopped by offering a voice to listen to certain concerns. And it's stopped by having a sign of force that says, oh, you might feel frustrated and you might want to do this, but you're not going to do this. We're going to stop you from doing this. We will find other avenues for this to get solved. Okay? And that's where this plays out. The aftermath, though, of 9/11, it didn't end on that afternoon and it was done.
No.
No. There's still deaths happening today.
It's still going on.
Yeah.
Invasion of Afghanistan to track down those responsible. An attack on Iraq, who was sponsoring terrorism and at the time was believed to have great weapons of destruction and had history of using these weapons of destruction and could be distributing them to other ones. So an invasion was planned to stop them and to capture these things. And in that, American soldiers were placed into harm's way, taking their duty to do what they believe and what they've sworn to do to protect America. You can never gauge just how many lives were saved by the actions in Afghanistan and Iraq. We can't truly gauge that. All we know is if it was left to be unchecked, there undoubtedly would have been further and greater acts and many, many lesser acts of terrorism that could take place. The aftermath also of 9/11 comes from those that were first responders, people that were at the scene when this took place. They were exposed to some asbestos and other contaminants at the scene of 9/11, and we found that many of those contracted cancer, that they were very sick for years and years afterwards.
They just got more funding for their program until 2096 or 92.
That's exactly right. That has now become funded. An act that finally happened in Congress that had been pushed off through all the different Congresses before. But this year, the voices were heard by a spokesperson who is from New York and a spokesperson that was kind of famous, Jon Stewart, who has catapulted himself into a voice for this movement, to lend any power that his name and his credibility can to that movement. And finally, Congress listened and funded more money to take care of those that are victims from being responders. They're still taking lives because of the cancer, because of the lung disease, because of the different ailments that have come out of being exposed to all of those particles, all of that at one time, with the collapse of such massive enormity. No way to saying it, just total enormity.
Plus the civilians that were miles away from the cloud of smoke.
Yeah.
That was like the smoke when it covered the city. There's still people that were just civilians walking around that the smoke got into their lungs, and they're getting cancer now.
Right.
A lot of them.
So
too.
you have that fallout.
Yeah.
We have the soldiers that are still on the ground. We have the men and women of the armed forces that are still serving. We have all the different actions that are going out there, our intelligence agencies that are trying to keep things at bay. But what needs to take place is for the sides to get together, for talks to somehow begin, and for a world to be in in play with the talks. You know, that's it's when people feel totally left out and powerless, they feel that their voice is not going to be heard. They'll find a way for their voice to be heard. And if it's through violence, that's a terrible way of doing it, but it is a very loud voice at that moment. We need to find a way, we being you and me, I'm an adult. You guys will be adults in 2 years, 1 year, or in Adriana's case, today. Today. So you become the person that can vote. You become a person that is now eligible to become a person inside of the government, or to dedicate your life to be part of a group, to get a voice heard, to make a change, to allow for things to happen, to be a better listening world. There's always going to be bad guys.
Always.
We just got to increase the number of good guys, good people.
Yeah.
I should say. You know, always bad people. We just got to increase the amount of number of good people every day in every way.
Yeah, and the thing is, other than there being people that are sick from the attacks, from all the debris, smog getting into the lungs. So I was born in 2002, so I never witnessed the attacks. But when I asked my mom about them a few years ago, she had told me that one of the planes flew over Westgate Middle School, which I think is just crazy, and people all over this area were horrified that there might have been more planes that would have attacked us because of nuclear power or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And but other than that, what I found really interesting was there was next to no security in airports. Like, you just had to get checked, I believe it was once, and you were allowed to go with the person that was leaving all the way onto the runway until they got to the plane. But after 9/11, all airports were just shut down for a very long time.
It's an amazing thing to talk about that, and that's where the act of terrorism sometimes can be successful. It makes people scared. It makes people suddenly doubt, and it makes them think. Now, the thing about it is, it could make people so afraid that they then turn around and do the wrong thing and take out anger against other people. They could make assumptions. They could jump to the wrong conclusions. But America is a resilient country. America rebuilds. America refocuses.
Yeah.
But it took a long time because of that fear that was instilled in us. And it is acting in fear is when you've got to be very careful. You've got to make sure that you're acting in courage and acting in a responsible type of a way with it. And it changes at the airports, they definitely came. You still feel it today with TSA and everything that happens when you fly.
Yeah.
You guys have grown up with that. It was totally different. Lance, what you described was true. And it was believed that one of the flights was very close. The flight pattern had them close. They were off of the flight pattern, but they have since been able to track it, and you might have been able to see it from Westgate School. You might have been able to see it from homes here in East Liverpool as it flew over. And that's where it's important for you to speak to and talk to people who remember that day and are able to react upon that day. And it's very important for us to say, okay, how do we end this? How does this get cured? And we think we can't do it. What can I do? It's just me. But if there's you, and you find someone that's got the same type of idea as you, and it keeps growing and growing, then it becomes a big voice. And a big voice can make a difference. And a big voice can start a movement, a new way of acceptance, a new way of understanding, a new way of listening and communicating and a new way of removing the need for someone to act in violence, to try and strike fear in people, to terrorize them. And that is where we're at today. So as you go through your classes, talk to your teachers, talk to your parents, talk to the folks at home. Ask questions about where are we today? What is going on in the world today? And will it be the world I want to see when I'm fully grown, when you're ready for a family, when you're ready to start a life and to move forward in this world on your own? You're in charge of creating that. What kind of world are you guys going to create? You know?
Mm-hmm.
Those are questions to be in your mind as you step forward. 9/11 brought us an awakening. It brought us anger and fear and retribution. It brought us peaceful movements. It brought us new ways of thinking. We have to continue in that. We have to. We did learn from our past, though. In World War II, when the Japanese attacked the military base at Pearl Harbor at the start of World War II, that was declared a sneak attack and was decidedly something very horrible for someone to have done. Very horrible. And America responded and entered into World War II. But we also gathered up Americans, Japanese Americans, that we felt could not be trusted because of the sneak attack. And they were put into internment camps during World War II. They were removed from their own homes. Their businesses would be closed. They would be remaining there. The all Japanese force that joined to fight for America in World War II was sent to Europe to fight. The most decorated, I should say, outfit next to the 101st Airborne was the Ansai Division in World War II. They were all Japanese American forces fighting in Europe. These were Americans. When this happened, we did not gather people up and put them into internment camps, but instead we tried to open up dialogue. We've attempted to break down barriers. The more walls that are built, the more ears that are left not listening because of the way someone looks, who someone loves, who someone thinks they are, what God someone worships, what country they come from. The more barriers and the facts that we refuse to listen to people because of those things, and we don't listen to their message, that removes us from being a part of a better, more peaceful world. And to put that into perspective, just imagine if you were the minority, if you were the person who was different, if you were the person who tried to speak out and people said, we don't listen to you because of you're an American, because you're white, because you're Christian, your anger would build, your frustration would build, your thoughts would change from trying to speak to trying to act, and the actions might be slowly deteriorated into that of violence so that your voice would be heard. Let's remove the barriers of voices to be heard. Let's listen to voices. But let's always be reasonable. When we listen doesn't mean it automatically is going to happen.
No.
When we listen, we at least begin dialogue. And from dialogue, things could begin to change. Don't you think?
I agree.
You agree?
I agree.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Anything else in the report there, gentlemen, lady?
I believe that is all that we have for our report on it. So I guess that's it for
Well, we do have a
the
great
9/11
message
part.
that's in a most happy manner. At 10:15, PNN has declared a moment of complete celebration. Because at 10:15 this morning, we commemorate the 18th birthday of Adriana. So at 10:15, we are challenging everyone in the listening audience and viewing audience at 10:15 this morning to jump up and dance wildly for exactly 60 seconds or longer if you feel like it, Nick.
I
Can't
got
go
you,
wrong.
Adriana. I got you.
Okay? We're going to dance wildly in total celebration of the 18th birthday of Adriana Hosey. Sound good to you?
Yeah.
You going to join us in
I
the
could.
dancing?
I could.
In the celebrating? You could.
Yeah.
Favorite song to dance to?
I can tell you that.
It better be
What's
the
that?
Footloose song.
Probably not one of these.
Well, it's probably not one of those, but
It's
what would
a
be your
song.
favorite song to dance to?
Probably Cha-Cha Slide.
Cha-Cha Slide.
All right.
I thought it was gonna be All
There you
Star.
Oh my.
Hey, now.
Yeah.
You know,
All
so-
Star.
Band flashbacks.
If you go to East Liverpool Junior Senior High, please tell Adriana happy birthday today.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot of birthdays out there today.
Yeah.
A lot of birthdays.
Tyler
Yeah.
Hefner, Josh Woodcraft.
Yeah, if you give me.
I haven't
Shantae Browning,
Shantae
right?
Browning,
Shantae
yeah.
Browning's
Yeah.
birthday.
I haven't done the
That's like a
notebooks
little
yet.
sister.
I don't know how many people's birthdays are
So,
today. So
happy birthday to the following: Victoria Redmond, Olivia Redmond, Shantae Browning, Tyler Hefner, Jacob Moore, Adriana, and Josh Whitcraft.
All right, now quick
Gotta
question
say
for
who's
you
the
guys.
people.
Now wait a minute, the Redmond, are they twins?
yes.
Yeah.
I was going to say they got to be twins, right?
Yeah, I figured.
That'd just be totally crazy if you had
Yeah, I
children
figured.
born on the same day but years apart.
That'd be weird.
That's really
That'd be
crazy.
really weird.
Halloween.
But
brother's
it'd be great for
fiancé.
birthday parties. One and you're done.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to spread it out.
Yeah.
Just bang, one big birthday party and you're good to go.
My brother's
Yeah.
fiance, her and her sister were born on the same day, just a year apart.
No.
Dude, that's
Seriously.
that's crazy. That's wild.
Yeah, it's the one and done. You know, just
Yeah.
boom, get
Hey.
the birthday done, gone.
Oh yeah.
I
You know?
mean, my sister was
Just eat
was born
different
a day
candles.
after me.
Your sister was born what?
A day after me, like my little sister, like not like actually after me, but like a couple years
A
later.
couple years in
yeah.
one
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Really? So it's that close?
Yes. I'm July 2nd. She's July 3rd.
So what do you guys celebrate? July 4th? Boom-tch.
Actually, we did that this year.
You did?
Yeah, because
That's what I
it
do.
was just easy.
See, I'm all about wrapping things up in one big package.
But like,
You know what I mean?
back then,
Of course,
like,
again, spreading out parties isn't bad either, but, you know.
it's just, like back then when she was first born, I just, I was little, so I kind of wanted my own birthday. I was selfish.
How do you know that? You were little. You can't remember that.
I was like 7.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
she-
So you're
she
7
was-
years older than her.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. All right.
like 9.
Still, that's wow. One day apart.
Yep.
Huh. Craziness.
She was supposed to be born on my birthday, but I asked my mom to hold it just one more.
Oh, I'm sure you did. Yeah, that's the power you wield. Wow. Man.
Just one more day.
Yeah, jeez, Nikki. Wish I had that kind of power.
Oh, her head's poking out. Just push it back.
Oh,
Ew.
Oh,
I wasn't at the hospital,
Wow.
okay? I called her.
Oh,
That's an
jeez, someone get a scrub brush. I gotta clean my brain. Oh, man alive. Moving on into other things that are happening upon this this great day. It's Wednesday. There's tutoring going on after school. We got Life Touch pictures are coming up on the 19th. So make sure you look purty on the 19th. Okay?
Always.
So that's gives you days to get your hair all in order there, Lance. Okay? Make sure that you got all the right duds on and all that kind of fun stuff. It never fails. Whatever day they decide to have picture day is just a day that I wake up late and you've been teaching a long time when the kids pull out pictures from yearbooks and show you're wearing the same shirt in 3 different picture days.
You did that?
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't mean to. It just kind of happened. So,
Yeah.
4th year, right
Yeah.
here.
This year it's marked. I'm wearing something completely different. I think I'm going to wear a tashiki. Yeah. Or maybe a full Native American headdress. I don't know what I'm going to go with, but it'll be something completely different. Something completely different. A moo-moo. That might work.
I think I'm gonna
Top
just.
hat.
I think I'm gonna just keep the
It's
flannel.
too
going.
How about a moo-moo with a tutu?
I like that one.
I like that one too.
There you go.
Whatever works. I
Whatever
guess.
works.
I'm gonna keep the flannels going.
Get the
I've been-
flannels going.
I'm gonna finish it
Adriana, we're going down a drain
Not
fast.
flannel.
Yeah, we are.
I think you need to
This
get
is
us
not
off the
flannel.
air and throw some tunage on for these people.
Definitely.
Definitely save us, Adriana.
All right.
Save us.
All right, everyone gonna say goodbye to our listeners. This has been Adriana.
My name's Nikki. I want to say have a great day.
Happy birthday, Adriana.
We'll be celebrating.
Yeah.
10, 15, 60 minutes, pure dance.
Everyone, please.
Yes. 1 hour.
Yes.
That's 1 hour. Well, right, yeah,
Well,
we're counting down. A little
well-
bit longer than that, buddy.
Well, you said 60 minutes. Yes, we're gonna be dancing for an hour.
No, 60 seconds.
Just
There we
60
go.
seconds. You don't want to, I don't need a
Yeah.
hospital.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
I got football
you said
later,
60
Lance.
minutes.
I got football later. I can't.
60 seconds of pure, 60 seconds, folks, not minutes. Jeez,
Yeah.
I already get calls. I'm trying to do it. I broke my leg. Yeah, we don't need that.
Try to do the
All right, Adriana, we are out of here.
We are going.
All
See you
right.
guys.
Have a good day, everyone.
Remember,
Later, my taters.
remember, dance.